Hello everyone, Jilles Groskamp here from Team INF1NITY, and today in this video I want to talk about the IF15-2 and my car that I use at the recent European Championship for the 110, the 200mm. In this video I want to show you my car, my setup, where I end up with, and just want to talk you through a little bit of the week, how it went. So come and have a look. Yeah, so last weekend was the European Championship and we went there with the whole team from Europe, and of course we run the new car, the IF15-2, and it was a little bit looking for a new kind of setup. However, a car is of course is new but not super new. The i15 we understand a lot, and of course the new i15 has a new chassis, has new roll bars, new shock towers, new brake, new top deck, so we've still had to fine-tune the setup. The track conditions in Sicily at the track there was quite different. Monday started off with very low traction. However, already on Monday afternoon and also Tuesday and especially Wednesday afternoon, when it was a bit more clouded, the traction was very high, and our car worked really good at that time. Unfortunately, on Thursday we had rain and we couldn't race much, so they all postponed the qualifications till Friday. We had time enough for that. So on Friday we started with control practice and qualification. However, the track was really a lot slower, about 0.5 of a second slower. So that meant we had to do something also on the setup. So I will go through the car now and I will show you what I did with the setup. This is a more close-up for my car. The new car is of course the diffs and the pulleys are black color. It looks quite different now. And the setup. Starting with the springs. These are the SMJ spring. It's still a prototype. It's the same springs we ran at the World Championship. This is SMJ yellow. And the rear is SMJ white. It's quite a hard spring, and on the track in Sicily it worked really well. And with a harder rear spring you have more and more rear traction and a good drive out of the corner. As I explained you before, the new car has the suspension, rear suspension block is 2mm more inside. So basically the rear suspension arm is the lower arm is more long, and it gives more stability, and also you can use the lowest roll center position, and this is what I did, and this gave the most rear traction. So that that was really helpful. So these are the springs. The shocks, I ran 500 two-hole front and 550 in the rear. Started in the beginning of the race 500 all the way around, but with 550 in the rear, especially with the lower traction, it was a bit better. So a bit heavier oil in the rear. The roll bars 1.9 and 2.0. Already from the start I ran that and it felt really good, so I didn't really make a lot of tests with the roll bar. So that felt quite similar to the old car. Feeling wise of the hardness of the roll bar. The new brake. Actually the brake dish is still the prototype from the Worlds. The new one is actually more light. This looks even more better. What I say, the whole week I don't have any trouble with the brake. Brake stays just consistent, and it's really nice to have a good brake now. Now looking at the top deck. Again I cut the top deck to get more flex, and more front flex gives a little bit more steering. Then however I also used the camber link again to stiffen up the bulkhead, but the car can still flex in this way. This is for me the best feel, and also with the new car I do this again. Caster, only 2mm here. It just feels more consistent if I drive a bit less caster. More caster for me has simply too much steering in the middle of the corner, and this feels the best for me. For the final, I put a 9.5 gram weight in the front bumper just to cool down the steering and make the car more smooth. That also helped a lot. Also, of course, in the final the tire gets smaller, so you need a bit more weight in the car. Now looking at the back of the car, underneath the car, the chassis, yeah, the new chassis, of course. I use a 28 here, 28 there. It was the best compromise for me. The weight of the battery is 70 grams, quite light. It's a 1800 battery, and yeah, this gives the good balance. Yeah, as you can see, I use a screw. This is the option chassis, of course, or the standard chassis, and you can use as option the screw here to fix the lower suspension block. And this gave more stability on the car, and this was really nice, especially on the lower traction. On Friday and Saturday I tried it, and it really made the car better. Yeah, the arms, just the standard arms, they felt the best for me. And of course these are the new arms with the holes that you can still, if you have the old car, you can still change the roll bar. So that's the chassis. Yeah, and then the clutch. This is the standard clutch with the optional bell and silver spring, just to make it very smooth. And 16, 21, 59, 54, just standard. So yeah, what else? I ran the 10mm Ackerman plate. This for me always feels the best. Yeah, camber is about 1.5 or 2 degrees. The rear camber was a little bit more. I think you can see there's a little bit of a camber in the tire. It was about 3.5. And also the toe-in, for the final I changed from 3 to a little bit more than 3.2, 3.3 toe-in to have a bit more stability. Looking for option parts, the only option part I use is the aluminium center bulkhead here to attach the top deck on. You can't really see it, but it's the aluminium one. Yeah, just to make the car a bit more stiff, a bit more rigid. Furthermore, option parts, not really. The car is standard already full with option parts, and yeah, this car works great, so don't need so much. My front upper arm setting, these are long and middle hole. That's for me the best compromise. The width of the car, it's 198 and a little bit, and rear is 198. I choose to make it very narrow. I think narrow car is always fast. However, I'm not sure in the finals it was as stable as a wider car, but for me I always have good feel when the car is very narrow. Differentials, yeah, that's very interesting. I ran 1,000,000 and 100,000 in the back. The 1,000,000 I used quite some days in practice, and the last day the traction got higher and the diff got softer, and that worked really well. However, when the traction was lower and I remained to use the 1,000,000 but was used a lot, so it was very soft, I lost a bit of traction, just a bit of on-power traction. So I put in a more fresher differential in the front, and it feels more like 1,000,000 or maybe even 1.5, it's like the fresh. And I had just immediately more traction out of the corner on power, and also I remain to have the same steering, so I choose to use the fresher diff in the qualification in the final. The rear, I honestly think when it's very high traction, the 80K works really good because you have a bit more turn in. However, the 100K always works good when the traction is medium and you need on-power traction. Also, the 100K is also just more consistent throughout the race. Yeah, talking about the strategy for the final, yeah, we went a safe strategy for the fuel, 4 minutes. Just most guys did 4 minutes. We could have stretched it out to 4:30, but it's always a risk, and we didn't want to take a risk. Yeah, for the tire change, we decided to change only the outside. Tony, he changed all 4 tires, and of course he lost a bit of time there, but I think he gained it back on the track So it was a gamble, and we choose to run or we changed one side. Actually, the car felt really good. Only in the end, yeah, the tire is 57 millimeter, and you lose a bit of pace to someone who changed 4 tire. The tire is a bit more big, a bit more fresh. But anyway, I think it was a good strategy. We did a good job. Yeah, the body shell, last but not least, this is the Extreme CZ1, and as you can see, I'm running the standard wing. A lot of guys use the hard wing. For me, the hard wing is just make the car more stable and not turn enough, so I choose to run the standard wing. Now the EFRA rule is 95 gram for the body, so I really have to add a lot of weight in the body. So I put silver tape just to make some weight, and of course the side dams. So this body is now legal weight. This is not a pre-cut CZ1, but this is a non-pre-cut that I mounted 4 millimeter to the front. For me, on the end, it makes the car just more faster. It's not more easy to drive, but it's faster. This is similar that I did at the World Championship. Also move the body a little bit to the front, and you feel you have a bit more steering. So yeah, that's it. That was my video about the Euros for the 110. I'm very pleased with second place. Of course, I would like to win the race. I have to say Tony was very strong in this race, and also Dario was very fast, and just had in the final bad luck for him. Also, congrats to Carmine to get a third place. So it really showed us a strong performance with a TQ and a second and a third in the final. And yeah, I can't wait till the car hits the shops. And any questions, please feel free to ask me. So this was my video again. I hope this was helpful for you, and see you next time.